Adam. When the Armex took me to train and become one of them, I always wondered what would happen to him. 7 years. Seems like twice that amount of time. I was 18 then, and he was 14. Yet, we were the best of friends. Amazing that we still recognized one another after all this time. I've often asked myself how much pain the story of his older brother being kidnapped and murdered would bring him. Well, now I know, and I wish I didn't. It's not like I had a choice, though. Leaving General Hawk's debriefing, hands in his pockets and eyes trained on the repeating floor tile pattern, Darrian muses over his disturbing reunion with his brother. It's not exactly like the 25-year-old volunteered for the assignment. He is a Techian man mechanized infantry lieutenant, and mecha combat is his specialty. But his jack-of-all-trades skill and excellent record are well known, and the top Armex general for executing military affairs felt he would be well suited for the mission of entering into and successfully escaping the WDC's hands. Commander Garn and Colonel Ohin's quest to uncover the armed reserve mecha of the Xeno organization has been known for some time now by the higher-ups, and an insignificant supply base in the New Mexican Union was converted into a trap for data leaks. Information on it is easily accessed, and its data of being an underguarded facility served as the perfect bait. Files on the base were recently called up through a computer at one of the Armex's worldwide outposts, and it was known that it wouldn't be long before someone would come to investigate. The plan was sketchy, but the fact that it worked leaves Darrian with little regret on taking the mission. That is, except for seeing his brother again, and those anguished green eyes. From down the hall, the tall and athletic Karen Reede approaches Darrian in a hurry. With each stride, the 24-year-old's shining, shoulder-blade-length brown hair bobs side to side in waves. "Hi, Darrian. Heard you were quite the hero this morning," she says in her always cheerful voice. He lifts his eyes. "Yeah, that's me, I guess. Hey, look, I need to get some hot tea to relax my nerves. Want to join me for a drink down at the work lounge? My treat." Smiling, Karen raises her eyebrows. "Oh, and a generous hero at that. Sounds like a plan to me. I just finished my training slot and could use some of the stuff. Mind if we talk on the way?" she asks, noticing something wrong in Darrian's facial expression as she walks back down the hallway with him. "I haven't seen any laws against it yet," he states bluntly, hands still stuck in his pockets. "What's up?" Karen grabs one of his arms and, applying a gentle tug, frees one of his hands. "Come on, Ace. We've been good friends since we first got here. Basically, since we were taken from our families. I can tell when there's something wrong. Will you just open up already? Why the long face?" He gulps. "That's exactly the problem. Family." "What do you mean?" "I had a run-in with my brother this morning on a subway transport. He's WDC now," Darrian mutters. "Washington Defense Corps?" "That's right. And what's worse, he's been convinced by the government that the Armex is out to kill democracy," he retorts, thoroughly disgusted. "What did he say? To you, I mean." "Adam? He said I couldn't be his brother. That his brother died years ago, and that I must be some sort of Armex trick devised to play with his mind." "I'm sorry. Do you want to lay the rest of the story on me, or should I just drop it?" Karen replies, her cadence carrying a tender understanding that makes Darrian open up. "He went crazy and started to attack me," he continues as Karen's thin eyebrows rise again, this time in distress. "I managed to shake him off me, but then a man called Ohin nearly killed me. I've read about him before, and he's still every bit as strong as the history books and the general's bio sheet mentioned." "Sounds like you were very popular," she retorts, hoping to disperse the cloud of tension hovering over the mecha ace, but the shaken Darrian shrugs off her remark. He tells her how Adam saved him, and how he then saved Adam before making his getaway. "Something tells me you didn't mention all this to Hawk," Karen notes under a softer, knowing intonation. "Of course not. If the general knew I ended up being sloppy toward the end of that mission, he'd have my bars on a grill," Darrian blurts out in a harsh whisper, demonstrating the terrible pressure he has been facing lately. "Hey, I don't blame you one bit," she says, placing a hand on his shoulder. "It was a personal issue that came up to haunt you. Seeing Adam and Adam seeing you was probably the last thing on either of your minds when you got on that train. How could your performance not have been affected? It doesn't make you a bad soldier, Darrian. It just means you still have your own personal character. Adam, too, I think. Neither of you has become a faceless cog in the war machine. Besides, you got the job done, didn't you?" "But I'm wondering, what's going to happen to your brother?" she quizzes quietly. Incredible. She could be such a kind person, yet in aerial combat trials she's the Sky Hunter. I've been thinking about that, and he could very well be killed considering the law system of today is sinking back to its corrupt past. He sighs. I wish I could have taken him with me. Don't worry so much. If your brother's half as talented as you are, I'm sure he'll find a way out of all this. I hope you're right, says Darrian, still feeling guilty. I know I'm right, Ace. That brings a smile to his face, as her merry optimism always does in the end. Thanks. General Hawk was so impressed by my work that he's putting me on the follow-up assignment of sealing the leak in Antarctica. That should be exciting, he remarks with the same smile, rolling his eyes some. It is at this point, for the first time, that Karen's sea-blue eyes betray her, telling him that there is something bothering her as well. Now, would you like to talk to me about your problems, Miss Skyhunter? He asks, turning his full attention to her. Oh, I was just thinking about my parents. How weird it would be to see them again after all this time like you saw Adam. It's like, well, our youth was stolen from us. Pieces of our lives just ripped from us. It'd certainly be ironic for them to find out their girl ended up a flyer, too. What a conversation for a guy to carry who's never really had a good relationship with his parents. We were just so different, Darrian tells himself. They were nice and loving, sure, but seemed all rigid and formal. I think Adam also had trouble relating to them before I left, but maybe my death has altered their personalities a bit. Hopefully not for the worse. Perhaps Adam patched things up where I failed. Sometimes it didn't even seem like we were related. It was like we came from two different worlds or something. Karen, I know what you're saying. We're like ghosts on this earth, but we've been called to something greater now. It's a purpose we can be proud of. Even if our names are thought to be dead and are spoken into the air by our loved ones with sorrow, well, we know what we're accomplishing. We just have to accept where we are and not let the past control us. Instead, we should let the past keep us strong. It's a constant reminder of what we're working for here. I think we've all cursed our fate long enough. Deep down, I know you're right. Adam will be okay. He's grown up tough and can take care of himself. You're not as dull-minded as most of the Mechaneers I know, she states sarcastically, using the negative slang for an Armax mecha pilot. Her mood lightened up considerably from Darrian's words. Well, few jocks have your charm, he returns with the same light-hearted sentiment, referring to the derogatory term for fighter pilots in the Armax. I really appreciate you listening and all. Don't mention it. That's what friends are for. An announcement comes over the loudspeaker then.
Attention, this is General Hawk. All personnel involved in Operation White Shock are to report immediately to the Tactical Commission Hall for a preliminary briefing of the forthcoming mission.
Darrian groans. Looks like that's me. Leave it to the boss to keep you from a friend. I'll catch you later then? Sure, why not? She replies, shrugging her shoulders as he changes his path and picks up his pace. Ace, when you're on that mission, be careful out there. Aren't I always? He tosses back while he hurries down the long corridor toward the TCH. Oh, and don't think you don't owe me that drink, Karen shouts after him, throwing him a funny look.